Rooster may have just ended, but the show is already gearing up for its second season. The HBO Max dramedy Season 1 finale saw Steve Carell's Greg decide to stay at Ludlow University after finding his place at the school and a community that really embraced him. But, of course, it wasn't a fully happy ending, with Greg's ex-wife, Elizabeth, played by Connie Britton, taking over as president, pushing Walt, John C. McGinley, out. The finale also saw a conclusion to Archie's, Phil Dunster, love triangle with his wife, Katie, Charlie Clive, who ultimately divorces him, and his pregnant grad student partner, Sonny, who also ends up dumping him, leaving Archie all alone. And while Season 1 already had a stacked cast of main members and guest stars, Rooster creators Bill Lawrence and Matt Tarsis teased that there's more to come in Season 2. In an interview with Screen Rant's Liam Crowley ahead of the show's finale Sunday, Lawrence said that while new characters have been written, there are Easter eggs about existing characters that were planted in Season 1 that will come to fruition in the show's second season. New characters will be introduced in Rooster Season 2 Patrick Wymore / copyright HBO / courtesy Everett Collection. There's more to come for Greg and Archie, of course, but also a deeper dive into the backstory of characters like Dylan, whose personal life wasn't explored as much in Season 1. Bill Lawrence: the only caveat I'll throw in there is that we often throw in Easter eggs about characters that exist, and we seem really smart because we pick it up the second year, when really, those things existed because we had planned to write them about the first year, and never got to them. And the one I always like, I don't want it to be too much of a spoiler, but I loved exploring Danielle Deadwyler / Dylan's professional life, but we never got to her personal life. But we said in the very first episode, there was a professor here who said I love you too, and then she took it back, and then Steve Carell says, are you allowed to do that? She's like, you can. They get really mad. And it was a big part of we'd already worked on an arc of when you meet that person, and how he complicates tons of stuff in this world. And that's just one. Part of the fun of a college is keeping this cast of 180 characters that all work. And though it's already such a big cast, there are 3 new characters that Lawrence confirmed will be introduced when the show, which is set to begin production later this year, returns. Bill Lawrence: there's 3 big new ones that get introduced, but I told you one of them is a spoiler. So the other 2 are big fun, but they've kind of been hinted at in the past as well. Lawrence and Tarsis couldn't say much about those characters or when the show will be back on the air, but they did say that Season 2 is expected to premiere in 2027. Matt Tarsis: the goal is to have it on TV next year. Bill Lawrence: yeah, a year or less than it was on the year before, just so we don't keep people waiting around. Season 1's ending was always going to happen the way it did, copyright HBO / courtesy Everett Collection. Rooster got a Season 2 order early on after its premiere, but that didn't alter the finale's twist ending, with Tarsis and Lawrence telling Screen Rant that it was always in the cards for Greg to conquer the demon that was his complicated relationship with Elizabeth by the season's end. Bill Lawrence: we always knew that we wanted a moment that the ex-wife that had Greg stuck for his whole last 5 years of his life, that he had reached a point of knowing his self-worth, and of having a moment where she made an advance towards him, that at the beginning of the show, he would have gone for it and been right back in the spiral of longing for this woman from his past. And so we know we wanted him to conquer that demon. We decided the other thing based on, I hadn't worked with Connie since Spin City, but based on how good she was, and what a great disruptor she was, not only for she made this amazing choice of playing this character, and we leaned into it as a really selfish person who didn't really have any qualms about being selfish, but was somehow still really likable. Any actress who can actually say, I pretty much do whatever the hell I want, and then just see what happens, and people don't hate her for it, is really, really funny to me, and she has this great currency. I think we decided to keep her in and around the world based on, oh man, she's not just a problem for Greg. Seems to be a problem for Walt. She seems to be a problem for her daughter. It was just really interesting to us. And while Elizabeth may be taking over for Walt, she is in no way getting rid of him, with Elizabeth's character functioning on the show as more of a disruptor in Greg, Walt, and Katie's lives, as opposed to a main character. Matt Tarsis: we want to make it clear that when Walt says, I want to do my swan song together with you, that he's not going away. This is Walt. He's the president for another semester. We're coming back, it's the spring semester, and so he's still going to be around. And we would have Connie as much as we can. We're not going to have her in every episode, but she'll be coming in and out to, like Bill said, disrupt things both with Walt, and with Greg and Katie also. What you said is true. Greg is finally free of her at the end, when he pulls away from her like that. And then, we like the idea of testing how truly over her he is by bringing her back. Bill Lawrence: and you can be free of someone personally and emotionally without being free of them professionally. So that's part of the fun, too. Archie's not a full-fledged villain, but he is toxic. It's safe to say Archie got a bit of a villain edit in Rooster. Not only does he cheat on his wife with one of his grad students, he gets her pregnant. And while his actions aren't admirable, Lawrence insists he's less of a full-blown bad guy and more of an awful, toxic narcissist, leaving the door open for Archie to learn from his mistakes come season 2. Whether or not he actually will, or can even fix the mess he got himself into, remains to be seen. Bill Lawrence, I'll let Matt talk about the season 1 arc, but I would tell you, just because I was the one who did it, because I knew Phil from Ted Lasso days, and Matt let me call him, because Phil's like, you want me to play another F-King reprehensible. I'm like, dude, you're not on a soccer team, and you're not some boy band.